now, we charge full throttle into a 70-year career of an undoubtedly influential producer-director. For fans of exploitation movies, you're in for an absolute treat. For those not so keen, you get to enjoy the childlike excitement of PD and his love of all things low budget and a bit schlocky. So sit back and get ready for a dive into the career of the highly respected Roger Corman. It's the Carlisle Cult Cinema Club presents...
Way! Hello folks, it's me, PD, back with another Carlisle Cult Cinema Club presents. Yes, we've rebranded the name. I think it just looks better and works with the interviews as well as the podcasts.
Took me 3 goes to get it.
Yeah, it took 3 goes to get that intro.
I'm very used to the old one.
Yeah, so it sounded great. And this is the first meeting of the 4 of us properly sitting here. So I'm joined with Waff as usual.
How do?
Daz as usual.
Hiya.
And Clive.
Hello.
Clive Tonge.
New
See
boy.
how I remembered that?
Nice one.
The new boy who
The
you
only
will...
person ever to remember that, you know.
Yeah, there you go.
Outside of my family.
There we go. What a legend. And I usually get that shit wrong. Let's be honest, people. So yeah, and as Waff said, we're diving into... We've got 6... Roger Corman films. I've picked 2. Waff's got 1, Daz has got 1, and Clive's got 2. So it'll be one of the boys getting 2 again next time. I don't know what it is.
Whatever.
Yeah. So yeah,
Whatever.
and I think we might be splitting the show to make it easier for you as well. Not this one, but I think from soon we're going to be splitting the shows to give you maybe 45 minutes to an hour each show.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit more easy to...
bit more bite size.
Yes, that's it. But I hope you've all been enjoying the interview as well. But today's show is all about Roger Corman, who sadly passed away recently. And it was only last week, but by the time this comes out, it'll be a week and a half to 2 weeks away.
It'll be a few weeks.
Yeah,
won't it?
because I've got a few to come out. But sadly, one of the greatest cult names in film history, Roger Corman, passed away after a 70-year career. 98-year-old, what an age.
Unbelievable.
It's no age.
You know what I mean? And do you know something? While I was doing all my bits and bobs, I watched an interview with him, and it was only from last year when he was 97.
Really?
And he was still remembering stuff from the 50s.
Spot on.
And you think... You know,
He was always switched on though, wasn't he?
That's it. And you think, God, I mean, his wife was there next to him, Julie. She was next to him, obviously and then they brought Bruce Dern on.
All right. Bloody hell.
And they were talking about Wild Angels and the trip.
That must have been just before Bruce Dern died then, I suppose.
Yeah. And they were both going off to... smoke some pipes, basically. Afterwards, honestly, go watch it, and that's what's said by Joe Bob Briggs. If you've never... He's on Shudder. They're brilliant shows to watch, by the way.
Right.
Joe Bob Briggs on Shudder. That's a mouthful to say.
Isn't it?
But yeah, and in this interview, and Bruce Dern was sitting, he was like, the people who, at that time, were knocking around together, you had Roger Corman, this was like Wild Angels and the Trip time, and this was before they went off and done Easy Rider.
Yeah.
So you had
Peter Fonda,
Dennis Hopper, Jack Nicholson, and Bruce Dern, which all went on to have massive, careers and defining Hollywood in them careers of each of them actors.
Absolutely, yeah.
And same with a ton of directors as well.
Well, I mean, Coppola, Jonathan Demme, Scorsese, Joe Dante, Jim Wynorski, James Cameron.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Bogdanovich, what's he called? Bogovich? I can't remember.
Bogdanovich,
that's it,
that's it. He was another one. They all got off their heads together on acid as well before they'd done the trip. Because they needed to know what it was like to have a trip.
Yeah. That's like Withnail and I when they got Richard E. Grant pissed because he was teetotal and he was like, no, you've got to be pissed if you're going to play Withnail.
Yeah, you've got to know what it's like to be drunk to play Withnail, and he knocked it out the park.
Knock it out the park, didn't he?
I mean, but highly, highly influential. He trained they all went through the Roger Corman school of filmmaking in them early days, and they'd done everything. That's why they were so good at that's why they were so good.
The best film school around, isn't
They
it?
had to be adaptive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And here we are now in 2024, and Coppola's putting out Megalopolis.
Yeah.
That's another mouthful to say.
Yeah.
Especially when you're as splattered as I am. And that's supposedly going to change cinema again, like he did back in the 70s with The Godfather.
I'm very interested by
So,
that.
I think it's going to be...
I think it's getting quite a kicking, actually.
It seems to be... Some people are saying it's genius, and some people are saying
as
it's
a
one of the
fan-
worst films
there's
ever.
other people who say it's genius.
There's a very
as a fan of his
Marmite
work,
kind of thing.
I've always liked Coppola's work. I even like Godfather 3.
One of my favourite films. Oh, yeah, me too, yeah.
You know what I mean? Even the third film.
But he hasn't
I
done
enjoyed.
much, really, in 40 years, has he?
No, he hasn't, because he's been... There was that other one he done, the fairy tale one that came out a couple of years ago. I enjoyed that, and that got a bit of a kicking.
Fairy tale one.
I can't remember what its name is. Someone would have to go and have a look for it on...
All right, fairy tale thing.
No, just...
He did, obviously he did Dracula and Apocalypse
Wasn't
Now.
Stardust, was it?
No.
Hey, no,
You and me, we can ride on a star.
Jesus Christ. Didn't
What,
expect that.
Stardust?
Like,
Bit of
It
Take
was
That.
like, Take That were in the room.
Jesus, yeah. Bloody hell.
You can rule the
Jesus.
world. Back to Roger Corman,
The
anyways.
original's bad enough.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on?
But no, Roger Corman was... I mean, there's films in this room which were produced. A load of films.
You know what? You'd be surprised how many he's got his name on.
I've got a copy of Wild Angels on VHS.
Right.
You know what I mean? I've got there's quite a lot. I've got Monster, which I'm going to be talking about tonight. I mean, we've got some absolute belters we're going to be talking about tonight.
Yeah, definitely.
Clive's got Swamp Women, Swamp Women, and The Wasp Woman.
Right.
Daz has got Death Race 2000. Waff's got The Watchers.
Yeah.
I've got Monster or Humanoids from the Deep, and The Mask of the Red Death. You know what I mean? There's some great films we're going to be talking about.
Is it Twixt you were thinking of?
That's it, Twixt.
Right, you haven't seen that.
Never seen it.
Yeah.
Never even heard of it.
That's from 2011.
Oh,
though,
is it-
so
is it-
Oh,
That's
2011
a film.
was it?
Twixt.
yeah, 13.
But it didn't
I've
come
not heard
out
of it,
until something like last. It didn't come out in 2011.
IMDb just has it 2011. So.
I know, because it's got an actress in it who would be nothing. Just about, she'd only been a child. Ella Fanning.
Elle Fanning's in it. Yeah.
Elle Fanning. She's quite adult in that.
She's 90, born in 98, so that makes her 27. So she would
Born
have
in
been
98 and it makes her 27. Can you believe that shit?
Yeah,
I know.
Oh, 26.
Can you
sorry.
fucking believe that shit?
Yeah.
So if it's 2011, so
But
she'd
yeah,
be
Twixt was
she'd be
that-
13, I suppose.
Yeah, but she's a lot older in it.
Is she?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dunno.
I think it was one of those that was started filming in 2011
Could be.
and didn't get finished.
But IMDb normally has the release date though on it, as it's.
Not all.
No,
Well, it probably got maybe screened somewhere, but unfinished. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh no, there's a picture of her. Yeah, she does look older than 13.
I'm right, Anna.
Well, I don't know. I can't
Yeah,
be
but
sure.
anyway, it's a good
Is it a
film.
time travel film?
I can't remember.
Oh no, I just thought, with the...
Yeah.
Is
I
this
thought it might have
Twixt?
been-
Are you looking at Twixt?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Is it
anyways,
about, it's like chocolate.
back to back to
Like wafer and caramel. It's
not wafer.
caramel, is it?
It's not wafer. It's- yeah, yeah,
that's
it is caramel,
That's
yeah.
a drifter.
back to
I love
Corman.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Back to Roger Corman, guys. Keep it together. Keep it together.
You went all take that, mate. I can talk about drifters.
I know. I'm just as bad. I'm just as bad. But you know what we like? We do like a tangent now and again.
We do.
But let's pull it back
There's
together.
no way out of it, isn't there?
Anyways,
No.
Just swept by the tide.
kicking off is me as usual, and Mask of the Red Death, and I can remember watching it as a kid. I can't remember what channel it was on. It would have been one of the BBC's probably. I think it was before Channel 4 was about, so it would have been BBC 2. And it was fantastic. And it was just the Technicolor in it.
Yeah.
If you watched a
I've
bit
watched
of it.
40 minutes of it for the first
Yeah.
time tonight, but as
And
much
it
as I can manage before I
and
got
the
out.
whole the atmosphere of it, which Corman did brilliantly with them Poe films,
Yeah.
and this was his second to last
So
of the Poe
when I was a
films.
kid, I always thought that was a Hammer film.
Well,
Definitely.
Only till
It feels
tonight,
like a
I
Hammer
thought-
film,
well, I
isn't
think
it?
it's,
It looks like it, doesn't it?
He did start the Hammer film, the Poe line, because of the Hammer films. They were doing so well that he basically, I could have a piece of that.
Hollywood thought they needed one.
in line.
Yeah, and he was the only one who was really doing that as well. There was a few other kind of as well, but it helped keep Vincent Price in work. His career would possibly have been, TV, which he did do, like the Batman TV show and stuff like that, around the same time as he was doing all these Poe films.
Yeah.
And the likes of. But yeah, 1964, Mask of the Red Death, based on Edgar Allan Poe's story, brought to life with a script from R.I. Campbell and Charles Beaumont, who worked on a lot of Roger Corman, wrote a lot of Roger Corman films, Charles Beaumont did. And Vincent Price is on top form as Prince Prospero, the Satanist who rules over the village with an iron fist, and he's a bastard, like.
Oh, yeah, he starts off right from the beginning as a bit of a
Yeah,
bastard,
he's just.
Vincent Price is great, isn't he?
Ah,
What
he
a
is.
face,
I mean, he could play. The Vincent Price, Christopher Lee, and Peter Cushing are all. It's their birthdays this weekend.
What does that mean?
Oh, at the same time?
I've got
Bloody
that
hell.
poster
Oh, I
to
think
go
I
out.
knew that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy, that.
It's my birthday tomorrow.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I
It's on
didn't
my
realise.
day.
Happy birthday.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Happy
Happy
birthday.
See,
birthday
I'm
for
not
tomorrow.
like PD. He talks about it. He's talking about
I'll mention
he
it.
was talking about his next birthday on his birthday last year.
Yeah, because it's my 50th.
Yeah.
Thinking ahead, mate.
So
Oh, you're just
that's
thinking
it.
ahead.
Yeah.
No,
Gotta have
But
a
yeah,
plan.
there's a
it's
reason.
actually, PD, I wanted to bring this up. It's actually 3 years to the day tomorrow when I met you for the first time in the flesh.
and started.
Yeah. And started this
It was on
crazy
your birthday?
podcast. It was on my birthday
Alright.
when I actually met him in the flesh.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm
In
worried
the
by
flesh.
what the in the flesh means.
I think naked, I was thinking.
Oh yeah,
strap on.
not naked, not naked.
He'd heard of me on.
You've got a dirty mind.
Yeah.
proves,
It's
yeah.
terrible.
That went dark.
It's
Yeah.
terrible.
He'd kind of seen us on the group because Daz was already a member of the group.
Yeah.
Because I've seen that today. You've been in the group 5 years.
Oh, I've been in the group a while,
Five
like
or five
yeah.
years.
WhatsApp
Yeah.
group.
No,
Then,
the Carlisle Cinema Club group. That
Yeah.
I invited you to be an admin in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just the
What
other
do I
day.
do?
But anyway, it doesn't matter.
Anyway,
So yeah, Vincent Price, proper top form, and he just shows pure disdain for all the villagers,
Yeah.
slapping them, kicking them, calling them
Grotting
names. You know what I mean? He just hates
I
them.
love a slapped villager.
And also you've got
A slapped villager is a happy villager.
That's
in
it.
my eyes.
I'm in for any film that has a slapped
Slap
villager.
Villager.
Yeah.
That's it. He's into it. And Hazel Court she looks fabulous as Julianne is.
She the ginger one at the start that he takes on.
No, he's actually his consort.
Right.
When she goes to the palace,
Yeah.
and the castle and things, and she looks fantastic. And obviously Jane Asher, the redhead, who was going out. She was only 17,
She looks young, like.
and she was going out with Paul McCartney at the time,
Oh, right, okay.
Bloody
who
hell.
was living with her and her parents, and he visited the set and had dinner with Roger Corman and her, and Corman didn't know who he was.
Right.
And he'd said, "Oh, I've got my first gig in London," and Corman wished him luck and all the rest of it. Then the next day, it was all splashed all over the papers, the Beatles and blah blah
Yeah,
blah,
yeah.
and he didn't realise who it was because obviously you wouldn't.
No.
You know what I mean? Being American, I think that's fantastic.
that's a good little story.
Roger Corman,
I totally didn't realise that was Jane Asher.
yeah.
Yeah, totally.
She makes wonderful cakes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
She was
But
a stunner, like.
she was back
Yeah.
in the day.
Oh.
She was beautiful,
Totally,
and she did get a kit off in a few films. She gets a kit off in this. Not just informing people.
So
You know what I mean?
that gets the booby mark next to the film.
That's it. That's it. It's a fantastic. She plays Francesca in this, who gets kidnapped by Prospero and taken to his palace, and it's got the tension, it's got the soundtrack, the score, and the soundscapes, and it's very trippy in parts as well, especially towards the end, when it's basically an orgy of colour.
Yeah, that's what I remember about it.
Yeah,
Super colourful.
that's it, and it's an orgy of colour, and
That was quite a thing back then. Well,
Glorious
maybe later
Technicolor.
on.
well, it got
Maybe
cut.
that popularised
There was
it.
parts of it cut in this country,
Right?
so the version I'll have seen on TV was cut,
Yeah.
and the version I've seen now is uncut, I believe.
Do you know what they cut out of it? More than slapped villagers.
Just there was some bits, some words that about God being a bit of a because he's a Satanist, isn't it? And,
Right, yeah.
There's stuff like that when I think
Blasphemy.
When someone kicks Jane Asher in the face or something like that. So
Well, there's no need for that.
no, there isn't. And it's set on in the backdrop of the plague, which is ravaging the whole. The world supposedly in this kind of gothic
Time.
universe of
the
poorness.
Red Mask or something. Is that
the Red Death.
Red Death, that's it.
And
Is that the plague?
yeah.
and there was the Yellow Death and all that.
I've just heard of Black Death.
The Black Death was the plague.
Yeah,
that was the
that
Great
was-
Plague, though, wasn't it?
Yeah,
what a great plague that was.
the
Great plague.
lovely.
The Great Fire of London. It was ace.
Ring of roses. You know what I mean? Ring of roses. Pocket full of pudding.
Bubonic as well, wasn't it?
There was- yeah.
Yeah.
But that
And
was the most recent one, bubonic.
Corman's direction on
I would have
this.
thought.
That's my favourite.
For me, Corman's direction on this is just, you know what I mean? He was at his best when he was doing some of these films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
his last film was Frankenstein Unbound, which is a great kind of.
I've not seen that one.
It was done in the 80s
His last
And
film was in the 80s, was it?
that he directed.
Oh, right.
See,
Or it might have been
sort of remember
1990.
that. I sort of
It
remember
was 89, 90, something like
the
that.
title vaguely rings a bell.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like I've heard it. But I've seen it.
And
No,
John
I don't
Hurt's
think
in
I've
it.
seen it. Right, yeah.
And it's
Alright.
it's
I probably
great,
will have
great
seen it.
weird, strange film. But I mean, he was a bit of an art house. He was into all art house films.
Well, they said that in the documentary that you give us all for homework. That we watched.
Sorry, sir.
They said he said that like the films that he makes aren't necessarily the films that he watches. You wouldn't actually expect to see, knowing what he's into, the stuff that he makes. I think at one point someone said it.
The thing with Corman was he's got a very kind of he knew what to tap into.
Yeah. I mean, well, he liked everything, didn't he? He was very eclectic, and he
but he knew what he could.
But he
he could
liked
tap
world
into.
cinema. You know,
Yeah, but
we
he
were
could
saying he
tap
brought a lot of
into-
world cinema to.
So if you knew there was something going on in the
US screens.
outside world, you could tap into that. Because it was like War of the Satellites, and there was the whole thing about the satellites in the 50s, and he went to a thing. He goes, and because satellites had been going up for the first time, and he went to one of the film companies. I can make a film. Give us so much money in 90 days. He went, okay then, and he wore the satellites, and that's what he was good at. He could tap into the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say.
Maybe a bit like
before.
Bowie, I suppose. Bowie was
Yeah.
very good at that. He
Yeah,
just kinda,
and Corman was
Capturing the moment.
yeah,
the zeitgeist,
that's it, capturing that time.
Yeah.
Wild Angels,
Yeah.
the counterculture movement. He was
Yeah.
one of the first to kind of go down that counterculture movement
Well,
as well, and he went with the times.
Was that the film they were talking about? That was the first time you really saw teenagers. No, that wasn't. Was it? It was
No.
a film earlier than that.
That
First
would have
time
been
you'd
the
seen
50s.
teenagers.
On-
When?
on-
No. The teenagers were depicted as like rebellious.
Oh,
It was all rock
yeah.
and roll. It was on that Corman.
Yeah, it was because
It was
the first time he
Are you sure he wasn't looking at other films and making weird copies of them?
No, because a lot of them came. He
After
was
his.
doing space films before. You know what I mean? he was doing action car films before frigging.
Well, certainly that one that's name I've just literally forgot that you mentioned about a second ago with Peter Fonda in it. Peter
Wild Angels.
Wild Angels. I mean, that was just before
Easy Rider.
Easy Rider.
Yeah.
Easy
right,
Rider was
okay.
obviously seen as which is why I kind of want to watch it because I was saying it's got the quote from Primal
Scream,
Scream
loaded.
But
young
yeah,
will
I
get
mean,
loaded
he was good
into
at tapping into what was going on in the real world and kind of creating this
Yeah.
exploitation film that would play on the drive-ins. They were made cheaply,
Yeah.
and he'd do a lot. I mean, he would be writing on these films when on the lam, and he was doing stuff he wasn't getting credited for. You know what I mean? So you've got to give the guy massive props, like
Absolutely.
And he's not just somebody who made shit films because he was much more than that.
Well, his talent probably is producing.
Yeah,
Doing stuff that will sell and make money.
that's
Yeah.
it.
He managed to tap into that good and proper, didn't he?
Yeah.
That's it. And he did also rip off your big films as well.
Yeah.
But usually find that them big films had kind of took parts of what he'd done previously.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was kind of a bit of
full circle.
yeah, without a doubt. But anyways, and it was Corman's kind of follow-up to the brilliant Haunted Palace. It was his next film, Mask of the Red Death, which we talked about in our
Lovecraft
HP
special.
Lovecraft one.
Is that regarded as his best film?
Mask of the Red Death is regarded as one of his, and he regards it as himself as one of his best films,
Okay.
and one of his favourites. But
That's definitely the period that more interests me. I think when he got into the more exploitation-y stuff later, that's not really my bag. But like, I would like to watch some of his earlier stuff because I haven't really watched much of any of his stuff really, to be honest. So, but that's the era that if I was going to sit and do a watch of some Corman stuff, it would be his early stuff. I think.
I mean, like he made The Intruder with Shatner, which is in that documentary.
Yes, that
looked good.
And that was his attempt to do a really handling a big social issue like racism in the South of America.
And it's his only film that made no money, but it did in 2011 when it came out on DVD.
Yeah.
Right.
I want to see that film.
Yeah.
It looks pretty looks hardcore, like,
But
to be honest.
anyways, Mask of the Red Death is just absolutely fantastic. Well worth watching if you've never seen it. I've got it on Blu-ray in my Vincent Price set. I think you can buy it separately now because it was only available on mine's the American set, and I think there's an Arrow set with it on. So it is worth finding and watching if you've never seen it. Bit of trivia. I've told you about the Jane Asher Paul McCartney thing, and Hop, Toad and Esmeralda were drawn, which is the little midget.
Oh,
and the
yeah,
little
yeah.
dancing girl, who was a little girl and not a dwarf, or I don't know.
Was that meant to be a dwarf? I just thought it was a little girl.
No, because she's got like an adult voice.
Oh, right.
She's got a dubbed over adult voice. So she's supposed to, because the little dwarf Hop Toad.
Yeah, he was a dwarf.
He's in love with her, isn't he?
I think I must have stopped watching it by that point. You mustn't get started until after 40 minutes.
When he's in love with her.
I will finish off though. I was enjoying it, but
I know you guys are all stuck for time.
Well,
And it's me having all the time in the world, I get to sit and watch these films at my pleasure and enjoy them, and which I thoroughly did. Hadn't seen The Wasp Woman for a long time, and it was a first time watch for me for a change with
Paul Rudd.
Swamp Woman.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that.
Bad joke.
But I'll get to that when we talk about it. So but they were kind of taken from another Edgar Allan Poe short story, Hop Frog, and it was inspired by an actual incident in 1393 where French King Charles VI and 5 of his lords dressed and chained themselves as wild men to masquerade, and their costumes caught fire by a stray spark. The 4 lords died, and the incident became known as Bal des Ardents, Ball of the Burning Men. The last words spoken in the film by the Red Death character are "Sic transit gloria mundi," which translates into English as "Thus goes the glory of the world."
What happens at the end? Spoiler alert.
Well, I don't want to say because
You've got.
Sorry,
I'll ask you next week.
Dun, dun, dun.
Originally, Pud wanted this as his second picture after the fall of the House of Usher, but he passed it over because he felt that certain plot elements were too close to Ingmar Bergman's recent The Seventh Seal.
Right.
Okay.
Which you can kind of see a little bit of the comparisons there. So give it a bit more of a break between the two.
Didn't he also introduce Ingmar Bergman
To America.
Roger Corman did,
Yeah, basically. I mean, the man was just...
He had his finger in every pie, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
And not in a bad way.
No.
It was because of what his passion,
And he's one of the few...
which is nice.
He's one of the few kind of big heads that I've never heard anybody say a bad word.
No.
I mean, Jack Nicholson breaks down in tears in that
he does. He does.
documentary, which you kind of like, Jesus.
Jack.
Yeah.
Fucking rock hard
And
Jack.
she's hiding his face because he doesn't want to see, you know what I mean? And you can see genuinely upset Jack Nicholson gets talking about him and how much reverie he's got for that's the right.
Well, if there was no Roger Corman, there'd be no Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
Probably.
Jack Nicholson gave him they met in
Yeah.
an acting class or something like that. Or writing class, I can't remember what it was, but they met somewhere and that was it. Took him with him, gave him a career.
Yeah.
Just started putting it. He was one of the Roger Corman's go-to actors for quite a lot of years.
Yeah.
Right into the early 70s. Late 60s, late 60s.
So even that on its own would be a good little career, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I know Jack Nicholson went on to much bigger and whatever Oscars and all the rest of it.
Yeah. I mean,
But to get a steady living as an actor must be incredibly difficult.
exactly. It was shot in England to take advantage of the British tax laws, and it was his first film that he shot in England as well. But he didn't enjoy filming the production in England due to the disruptions caused by the heavily unionised crew and the insistence on regular tea breaks.
Oh, brilliant.
Do you know what I mean? Well, back then it was every 3-4 hours, 15-20 minute tea break.
And you've got to think...
Then an hour for lunch.
Yeah.
You imagine a film set as a lot of people.
Yeah.
If they take... half an hour is a long time on a film set. So
That's
two
it.
15-minute tea breaks. And it's 70 grand a day to run,
Yeah.
And according to what I found on the tinterwebs, the same chainmail and armour that the Prospero's soldiers use was reused in Gladiator.
Oh, right.
57 years later.
Jesus. Well, I love it. It looked older than it did.
Well, yeah. So, but that's fantastic. That all them costumes were still knocking around and being used 57 years later, and it probably still went on and been used since then, and are probably going to be used in this new Gladiator.
Oh yeah.
Because they'll get taken off and cleaned and pampered and stored. Do you know what I mean?
I've never seen Gladiator.
You've never seen Gladiator?
No interest.
Well, that's it.
We need to do one time, like films you should have seen but you haven't.
We've
done that.
Have you done that?
I brought that in. Yeah,
to be honest, we didn't quite do it. We've done giving each other
Oh, yeah, I was
one,
giving each other one.
which is just we picked.
What do you mean? That came out wrong. Yeah?
Oh no,
that was the name of it.
Like
Yeah. It was the idea was it was kind of there was films
Something
we
you weren't
wanted
expecting.
each other to watch.
So I would tell you to watch this weird film sort of thing.
Well, there's a film that
that's
I
what he
love
does.
that I know that PD hasn't seen. I'd give him a film, and a film I love that I know Daz
and
hasn't
he
seen.
fucking did as well.
No,
Do you know
no.
what he made us watch?
Not that one. It's not that one.
Midsommar.
That was shit
Mother.
films. No, that was shit films. I'll give you your name. Your name, the Japanese anime film.
Oh, which I enjoyed.
Yeah. This was one where we're giving each other good films. Mother was when you were giving me fucking Pink Flamingos and. So I was like, right, I'm going to give you something that I know you want.
It was a Revenge Tuesday.
But come on,
Astro
let's be honest.
Zombies.
You enjoy Pink Flamingos. It's a fantastic film.
It's
Fucked up.
it's many things, but I
John
wouldn't call it a
Waters.
fantastic film.
John Waters.
It's an experience.
Yeah.
That covers
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Experience, I'll call it an experience.
Your eyes will be open.
They'll never blink again.
And finally, I'll say it's included in the 1,000 movies you must see before you die.
Is it now? That's
Yes.
cool.
Okay.
That's nice to
So
know.
it proves
Yeah.
I think there's more than
Oh, God,
one
there will be.
Roger Corman film
Cool,
in there
they've got to be.
produced or directed
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
guaranteed. But yeah, so that was Mask of the Red Death.
Aye.
And we went off on so many different tangents there. So
Okay.
over to Waff with his film.
Okay. So I'm going a bit more recent, and I'm also tenuously using him as executive producers as a credit on this film.
That's fine.
Cheating, though, is it? Is that cheating?
No,
Well,
no,
Get
still
away with
involved.
that,
He'll have
can't
had, well,
we said it was
Whatever.
He'll have had his finger in more than just executive producer, you know what I mean? I'm sure, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was, I mean,
I'm getting
Right in there.
it was slightly hard for me. I mean, I'm not really seen many Roger Corman films, but I watched this when I was a kid and used to really love it. So I thought it was a good opportunity to revisit it. But yeah, it is slightly pushing out there, but we're fine. We'll brush over that. So mine's from 1988, and it's Watchers, which I used to hire from the video hire on repeat. I just loved it. I was a big Corey Haim fan at that age, and Fieldman. I like the two Corys.
I've never seen it, so...
Well, it's good. Yeah. If you watched it now, you probably wouldn't enjoy it.
I
but
believe it's nothing like the book.
It isn't. I've actually read half the book.
Is it a Stephen King book?
No,
No.
Dean Koontz.
Oh, is it Dean Koontz?
Dean
It's the book. The book. He's an adult, but clearly you can see what happened. They said, right, let's make a movie out of this book. Like, right, cool. Okay, so we need like an adult actor. Like, well, Corey Haim's available.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
quite popular at the moment.
What's the basic story, kind of?
Well, I'll get into that.
Okay.
Yeah, no, well, it's
Sorry.
So it's directed by John Hess, who hasn't really done a lot. He did a lot of kind of the more kind of B movie stuff, Not of This World, Alligator 2, The Mutation, and stuff.
Alligator 2, The Mutation is a superb monster movie.
I'm not
I've
surprised
never
you
heard
like
of
it, but it's
What's it
it
about?
looks like
Put it on
film you know.
VHS. it'll be above my head somewhere on VHS. Look for Alligator.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I believe you. I'm sure it's there.
It'll be there somewhere.
I'm looking now.
So yeah, it was written by obviously Dean Koontz, who's the novelist of the novel that it was based on.
Roughly based on.
Yeah, very very tenuously. I mean, I've only read half the book, but yeah, I was reading it, going like, this isn't the film that I remember. But Damien Lee, who again did kind of more like a lot of kind of B movie type stuff, and then Bill Freed. I'll come back to him because when I originally looked him up, I said, he's done nothing else. He's only ever written this. And I was like, all right. And then I got to the trivia section, so I'll swing back to that and see who Bill Freed is.
Baker's breath.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. So it's starring, obviously, Corey Haim. Did loads of stuff around that time, like Lost Boys and License to Drive and Silver Bullet, etc.
Silver bullet.
Yeah, classic. You got Michael Ironside. Obviously, everyone knows Michael Ironside, Starship Troopers, Total Recall.
Anything
Yeah.
Michael
V.
Ironside is in
Yeah.
is just watchable.
Yes. Yeah.
Turbo Kid.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's in that, isn't he? Yeah.
You know what I mean? Highlander 2.
Yeah.
You name it. Michael Ironside. Just so watchable.
Always a bad
Scanners.
guy. He's always a
Yeah,
bad guy.
Scanners.
Scanners.
Yeah, Scanners.
Yeah.
You know, he's superb in Scanners.
It's a face everyone recognises.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you don't know his name, you
Yeah.
recognise him.
Yeah, it's that guy.
Nobody.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Plays
fuck
his,
yeah.
his father-in-law in Nobody.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Superb.
Yeah. Was it Michael Ironside and Nobody?
Yeah.
Was it not? I thought it was
No,
Christopher Lloyd.
Christopher Lloyd
No,
plays
Christopher
his
Lloyd
dad.
plays his dad.
Oh,
The
right.
father-in-law
it's his-
who owns the factory that the end of
That's
Dawn
right. Yeah.
shut up.
Yeah.
Michael Ironside.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, well
Yeah,
done.
because
So he's still making-
I knew it was, but he
I was
did
like-
say father-in-law, so he said
I
that
was
on
like-
purpose.
He's still
I was like, am I
making
wrong?
films and he's still
Yeah.
great. In
Yeah, he is.
everything
He's
he
awesome. Yeah,
makes. You know what I mean?
he's a stamp of quality.
Yeah.
He's still going, is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nobody was only 2 years ago, was it? Something like
Yeah,
that.
2-3 years ago.
I think he looked older than he was before his time.
Yeah.
He was born old.
Yeah, he's born older. Yeah.
You've got Lala Sloatman, who plays the love interest of Corey. She was in Pump Up the Volume, Joe versus the Volcano, but kind of fizzled out after that.
Adventures of Ford Fairlane.
I think I've seen that.
Oh, great
Right.
film. Oh, what's
Hey!
Yeah,
It's not, isn't it? He's a bit like...
Fuzzy? Fuzzy.
No, but
Fuzzy.
he's dead laid back, isn't he? And he's dead
Yeah.
cool, isn't he? Does he wear a Hawaiian shirt
Andrew
or something?
Dice Clay.
Andrew Dice Clay, that's it.
Yeah, Lauren Holly.
Hey.
Wayne Newton. Priscilla Presley.
Do you know who Andrew Dice Clay is? He was really offensive. Really
Comedian,
offensive
stand-up
comedian.
comedian.
Like rhymes, didn't he? Made rhymes.
Yeah.
He was like... Yeah.
Some bird started sucking my cock
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
he was like Italian American, really racist, like horrible, really. But he was a character.
It was just a
And
character.
a lot of people didn't get it at the time.
Yeah.
And they couldn't take the artist away from the art. You know,
Kind of like Alf Garnett thing.
Yeah. So they sold the character
He
as the
was selling
person,
out.
but
He
it
was
was
selling out.
I didn't know he was
Stadiums.
Yeah.
Right.
Him.
No,
Back in the 80s, he could sell out a
was a
stadium.
character,
Right, yeah.
It's mental.
Yeah, no, he's just a character. Andrew Dice Clay is such a different person.
Yeah.
Right.
To,
I never knew that.
And if
Well,
you
Andrew
watch,
Dice Clay isn't his name. That's his character name.
that's his character
That's the
name.
character name.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've gone right off.
yeah,
I was going to go off another one there. I was going to go deeper. I'm stuck down a rabbit hole.
he hasn't even said what the film's about yet.
What are we on
Come
about?
on, back to what?
You've got Dale Wilson, who I've only added in because he's got a small part because he has to have the worst English accent I've ever heard in my life. When he first came on, I was like, okay, this guy's South African. And I was like, no, he's
Is this
English.
worse than Keanu Reeves in Dracula?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is. It's worse.
Worse than Dick Van Dyke,
I
Keanu Reeves.
Sure
or
you were
anything.
going to say no.
No, it's like it fluctuates between South African, Australian, and English. So I had to look him up. He's from Canada, so I thought, there's no bloody way he's from England. But he hasn't done a lot of other stuff. Blue Mankuma, who most people recognise for he's been in a few things. He's in Stakeout, another Stakeout.
Yeah.
And a small part for Jason Priestley.
All right.
Boy on bike.
Yeah, that's it. Boy and bike.
That's basically, he just turns up on a bike and is a bit of a dick and that's
Fucks
all.
off again.
Yeah. You don't see much of him.
Yeah, well, he gets eaten by the monster, doesn't he? Yeah. So basically, now the storyline. An explosion in a research facility in small-town America results in the escape of a research dog, which is a golden retriever. We're going to get a golden retriever, so that was nice to see on the big screen. And a genetically engineered monster, psychically linked to the dog. That is the same as in the book, so they have kept that the basic premise. Basically, the dog befriends a local teen, Corey Haim, and the monster, which is called Oxcom. Which stands for Outside Experimental Combat Mammal. No.
I know.
It's like, Oxcom sounds cool. How can we make words to fix
Make
it?
that work. Make that
And it's
work.
called something
what does it
different
mean? Say it
in the book.
It's Outside Experimental Combat Mammal.
Genius.
It's probably, and isn't it just called The Creature or something like that?
Yeah, that's one of my bits of trivia, actually. It's it's
Canine
in the
of
book.
capabilities of killing
Yeah.
cock.
In-
You know what I mean? That's you. There's an acronym for you. I love cock.
We're gonna sample that line and stick it in all the pods.
No,
the start of every pod,
don't.
Daz just starts
Sorry,
off with,
yeah.
I love cock.
Clive's teasing cock out of me.
Oh no!
You're a father.
Going back to off, he's trying to just tell you how it's going. We still haven't got through the.
I know.
So the dog befriends local teen Haim, and the monster basically kills everyone in its way because it just needs to get to the dog. So the idea is this creature's it's as usual, which is a proper trope in a lot of movies around the time, is it was designed for the military as some kind of these oxcoms would go out into the field and send the dogs in, and then they'd chase the dogs and kill everything in the way, kind of thing.
This film sounds insane.
It's
I like the mental pictures I'm getting.
Yeah, that's it. And then in the meantime, you've got two agents. Obviously, one of them's Michael Ironside, and they're a bit kind of sinister and have rather dubious intentions, and they're trying to catch the monster, but they don't really care how they do it or who gets in the way. And obviously, it's you've got Haim trying to save the dog, and the creature and the agents chasing him, and that's kind of it. And
everywhere the dog is, folk just get destroyed and ripped apart.
Right.
By a creature.
By a creature.
Yeah. What is it like?
It's kind of.
It's in the book, I think it was described as like kind of a disfigured baboon. So
Yeah.
but it's kind of a big. It's kind of like that, big. Like obviously, it's a man in a suit, and kind of long claws, and yeah, the face is kind of slightly baboon-like, I think. Yeah, a bit. It's hard to really describe it.
It's a bit
ape-like.
yeah.
Yeah.
A bit monkey-like.
Yeah, it's quite cool monster suit.
It is, to be fair. And it's got some great gore effects as well. Folk getting, the guts ripped out and the backs ripped open.
Oh, we all like a bit of that.
Yeah. It's got some.
Down with that.
That was mine. Sorry.
That's right.
And just it's got some great gore effects, and the creature suit's quite good.
Yeah,
and it's just a schlocky creature feature monster movie.
Yeah. It's. Having watched it for the first time since I watched it 100 times when I was a kid, I still enjoyed it. There was a few bits where I was like, certainly some of the music is awful.
How much of your enjoyment is tied to that nostalgia?
Very much tied to nostalgia.
Like a cold viewer.
If I'd watched it for the first time, I would have probably turned it off after 20 minutes, I would have thought. Okay. But I loved it so much as a kid. I still had that kind of nostalgic feel for it, and so I did enjoy it.
There's a lot of that in this group, though, isn't there? That's why we love these films.
Yeah, because when I rewatch a film from back in, it could be 40 years since I last watched it. But if I enjoyed it then, I know I'm going to enjoy it now.
So you never go off them?
No, I don't.
I go off them a lot. Actually.
No.
Yeah,
the stuff I loved when I was younger that I would never play again. I couldn't.
I rewatched so much stuff. I mean, Jesus Christ, I'm 19 and a half seasons into the bill.
He keeps saying this like it's something to show off about, but it's something you should keep to yourself, really.
It's women queued at the door.
I don't know what I'm going to do.
It's not healthy.
There's only 6.5 more seasons to go.
Oh, Jesus Christ, mate.
Before the bill, it was Bergerac.
Oh, yeah, can you remember Bergerac?
On the bees.
Yeah.
So a bit of trivia anyway. So this is the bit I was going to come back to. Paul Haggis wrote the original screenplay, and by the time the movie was greenlit, the Writers Guild strike hit, and Haggis refused to do any further writing on the film. So the writing was taken over by Damien Lee, who rewrote it. Haggis read the script and took his name off it, taking credit instead as Bill Freed, his Writers Guild Association WGA pseudonym, and insisted Damien Lee take credit for his work, although he's still down there as Bill Freed. But Paul Haggis actually wrote Quantum of Solace, Casino Royale, $1 Million Baby, Crash.
Okay.
The Last
so
Kiss.
another career started.
I don't know what he'd done before, but then he took his name off it anyway, so maybe that helped start his career by taking his name off it. Aside from the basic plot and character names, the movie is very little in common with the book. We've already kind of covered that. Corey Haim and Barbara Williams play son and mother in this film, but a few years later they play lovers in Oh What a Night, which has got to be a bit weird.
Which is a great film as well.
I don't think I've seen that one, to be honest.
No.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed Oh What a Night.
Right, is it? There must be so it's a love story with them.
It's a teen kind of, yeah.
But she's an older woman, presumably.
She's an older woman,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm gonna say, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, can you remember
Graduate or something?
Patrick Dempsey in Loverboy and stuff like that?
Oh, right, yeah.
You know what I mean? There was all them kind of films going around that era.
Yeah.
Young bloke,
Yeah.
young lad, older woman.
Cougars.
Private Lessons.
Yeah.
You know if you
Mrs.
remember
Robinson.
Yeah.
Yeah, The Graduate, yeah.
Do.
Here's to you, Mrs. Robinson.
Are they alright? What was that noise then?
Clive, this happens a lot.
Yeah.
Burst into song. It's like being in a musical.
It is like a shit fucking musical.
At least we need dancing because
I don't really enjoy it that much.
You do now and again.
Now and again, if I feel compelled.
Yes.
So, final bit of trivia. In the novel, the Oxcom is simply known as the Outsider, and the creature's referred to as the Outsider in the sequel films. So they clearly kind of changed it for the movies after the first one. And that's about it. There wasn't a lot of trivia on it, to be honest, because it wasn't a massive film. But well, that's it. Yeah, I don't think you can get it anywhere. I had it on DVD. So, but Yeah, I enjoyed it. Good to have some nostalgia once in a while.
No, it's great film. I enjoyed watching it again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A bit of not that long, maybe 10 years.
Yeah.
Since I've last watched it.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Oh, the sequels as well.
Although it sounds familiar, so I mean, and when was it? 88.
88.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Matt
I
Singer's
would
in the
see it.
sequel.
It feels like it's a film you remember.
Yeah, I like
that.
that.
Dog and all that.
There's 3 sequels.
Right, bloody
There's
hell.
Watchers 2, Watchers 3, and then Watchers Reborn.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Watchers 4 and you threw me off there. I should have known. Oh, Watchers the beginning.
Curveball there.
Watch it. You see, if it was done now, it'd be Watchers the beginning.
Yeah,
That'll be the last
the
one that was
prequel.
made.
It would have been,
Always the prequel.
Always the prequel.
it would have been a bit stupid if you said there's 3 sequels: Watchers 2, Watchers 3, and Watchers 4. It'd be like totally pointless.
No, I know. But, you know,
But I threw that Reborn in,
I
you know
know,
what I mean? It's probably known as Watchers 4 in some places.
A bit of Watchers 4 Reborn.
Yeah. So, over to Clive, and you, Swamp Women.
Swamp Women, yeah. So I say, full disclosure, I find very hard to watch Roger Corman films. I've never really seen many of them. And unlike everyone else here, I haven't prepared notes. But it wasn't in my brief, to be fair.
No.
No.
Yeah.
I blame PD for that.
It's my fault.
So,
It's my fault.
I can't.
This
give
is a
you
bit
much-
of an this is a bit of an eye opener for Clive tonight. So,
yeah.
he's riding by the seat of his pants. So I'll be helping him out a little bit.
So I've got nothing in the way of trivia to offer.
I'll quickly,
But
while you're talking.
I'm more interested in things like story and the way they're made and all that kind of thing. That's where my real interest lies. So Swamp Women, I found it on YouTube.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
And I kept zoning out, to be fair. I found it a difficult watch.
Yeah.
It's just over an hour long.
It feels rushed. I think that was my trouble. And it was just like stock footage of animals.
It felt, it just felt like a long episode of a TV show.
Right.
You know what I mean?
An overlong episode.
It was the
maybe.
first of the redneck action films.
Right.
All right.
And the kind of Woman in Chains films as well.
Yeah, so they're escaping from jail, and I think they're like a band of bad women.
One of them's a copper. One of them's a policewoman. And
she's undercover, isn't she?
she's undercover, and they're going to get diamonds.
Right.
That their fellas had hidden.
Oh, right.
And the
Okay.
fellas-
So they're like, yeah.
The fellas doll.
Widows.
Yeah, kind of. The fellas doll got the electric chair,
Right.
so they'd escaped.
Yeah, and they go to find this treasure, and it all goes belly up from there, doesn't it? Really.
Yeah, greed is the
Greed
thing.
takes over. Yeah, and people die in horrific ways. Which is, this is Roger Corman,
This
isn't
is
it?
Roger
They've
Corman.
got to die in horrific. I mean, in fact, that's horror movies, isn't it?
Well, that's it. And this came out
know.
in 1956.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, so
All right.
it's an old one.
Yeah.
But yeah, from a production angle, it's kind of, you can sort of tell the difference between the footage and the stock footage of alligators and things like that.
But in that time, it didn't matter, did it?
No, yeah. So there's definitely, and this will apply to The Wasp Woman, my other film, which we'll come back to. These films would have been great to me as a kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would have really been drawn to them. Maybe not Swamp Women so much, but monster films.
There'll be a lot of blokes will have went to see that because the women in it were good looking women for the time.
Yeah. I know. It's the nearest you're going to get. Yeah, exactly. It's the nearest you're going to get, isn't it?
Yeah.
And get away with.
You know what I mean? And it was Marie Windsor as Josie, Carol Matthews as the undercover police lieutenant Lee Hampton, Beverly Garland as Vera, and Mike Connors as Bob Matthews, and he gets arrested. He gets captured by them and held hostage, and the policewoman and him have a bit of kissing and stuff like that.
All right.
Yeah.
Hanky panky.
Yeah.
Define stuff like that.
Well, you know what I mean.
Understood.
But there's bits in it
Oh,
like
right, I
with
suppose,
the
Little
The,
jiggery pokery.
But how's your father?
striking of the snake.
Yeah.
That was really well done. There's a snake coming after Bob as
Right.
he's tied up, and there's a woman up a tree, and she's trying to shoot the other women because she's got the diamonds and that and all the rest of it. And a snake comes up and it starts striking, and then they shoot it, and you could tell it was
real snake.
Or it looked very good twist in it.
It looked real to me. Yeah,
it looked real to me as well. You just think, bloody hell. And that was before Cannibal Holocaust.
And Apocalypse Now had a similar thing where they kill that cow, didn't it? It just happened to be a ceremony going on, so they filmed it, didn't they? And it really added to the scene.
Yeah.
So it wasn't done for the film, but I wonder if that shooting of the snake was stock footage or something, or did they shoot?
Circling back to Pink Flamingos, actually, the chicken got shagged to death at the end of Pink Flamingos, and they got into loads of crap for that. But like Roger Waters said afterwards, it's because we did eat the chicken afterwards, so it was fed. So what's the difference? It's like it gets killed in a like slaughterhouse, or it gets killed shagged to death. As long as it gets eaten at the end of the day, it's like. It's
11 herbs and spices on that.
I'm telling you, a bit more than 11 herbs and spices. You know what I mean? That's it. Bit of special sauce.
Jesus Christ!
Do you want a bit of ranch?
I'm fucking Colonel Sanders' special fucking gravy. Well,
in
no, we might have known Waters.
In America, their gravy is kind of.
You know
white
what? I mean, I've been to the States.
It's not sperm, though.
No, but it doesn't look the...
I've been to the States, and I never had gravy.
Biscuits and gravy.
Biscuits and gravy, yeah.
It's a thing, isn't it?
But it's I think they're like scones, aren't they?
I think they are, but the
They're like
gravy's
scones,
like
I
a
don't know
grey,
what the
white
gravy is. Have you eaten them? Yeah.
weird colour.
Yeah, and the gravy is like white colour, and
Yeah, yeah.
coloured.
It doesn't look
no,
like it's got
it's
much
not
meat
spunk,
flavour.
but you know what I mean?
It doesn't look meaty.
Thank God, because I've had it.
I forgot he asked, and then he said he's had it, and I'm like, no, it's not. That's why he asked, because he's eating it. You know what I mean? We're all going on about a chicken
Yeah,
getting
I was quiet for a while there. What have I eaten?
But no, it's... to be honest, you know, I watched it this afternoon.
Yeah.
While I was doing writing all my other bits up, and I enjoyed it. But it's up there. It's my kind of thing. It was a bit slow, and it was a bit, you know what I mean. It wasn't the fastest of films.
I think even on the Corman scale, it wouldn't go very high, would it?
No.
Yeah.
No, it will have been made for very little money.
But it'll have made money.
It'll have made money, but it started a genre as well.
Yeah.
Like a lot of his films did. You know what I mean? So.
And when films like that make money, they do change the mainstream somewhat.
That's it.
You know what I mean? The best ideas come out of the underground, don't they, generally?
Well, do you know I mentioned about Corman space films? Have we all seen Silent Running?
Of course.
Yeah.
Is that Roger Corman, is it?
No. Bruce Stern.
Yeah.
Douglas Trumbull. His only directorial film.
Yeah.
He's done the special effects for 2001.
Yeah. Patrick Reed Johnson's muse.
Yeah. Do you know what one of his inspirations were?
For Silent Running?
For Silent Running was the space films that Corman did.
Right, okay.
Cool, man.
So it's all, you know what I mean? And Silent Running's one of the most influential sci-fi. It's just superb. I've got a VHS box kind of Blu-ray thing of it.
It's great.
Yeah.
I think that's, for me, like, to continue your horrible fingers in pies metaphor. He did have his fingers in a lot of pies.
He did.
And for me, probably the least interesting finger is in the director pie.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I'm with you on
Probably
that.
You're probably right.
He only directed... Well, he directed 59 films.
That's a lot, though, isn't it?
Which is a
It should
lot.
be amazing by then. It should be amazing.
But when you look at...
He was knocking them out.
Look at his poor films. Absolutely, you know...
Yeah.
Wild Angels.
I haven't seen Wild Angels.
But it is, again, so influential.
This is from watching the documentary. He started off at like obviously low budget, and then he got a budget, and he made some kind of more classy films like the Poe ones and Wild Angels and stuff. But then he got sick of the studios interfering and making decisions for him and stuff, and he said, right, I'm just going to do my own thing, and that's why he started doing the exploitation films, because he was like, I can bang them out, I can make money, I can do it my own way.
Probably fun as well.
Yeah,
to do.
enjoyed
a nice way to make a living.
So yeah, I mean, it's not my cup of tea, but good on him for doing it. It's like
It's bringing home the money, isn't it?
It's just
But
it's
the stuff, the sci-fi stuff like Mutant Forbidden World and Galaxy of Terrors which had, you know, your likes of James Cameron doing the effects work for and all that. You cannot knock. I mean, yes, they kind of ripped off Aliens, but you can't knock them films because the cast they had in them and the people that had working behind them.
But that goes to influence again, which he was a big influence, bringing people in and causing influences and changing genres and stuff. That's all. That makes him a legend of Hollywood, but it doesn't necessarily make his films as a director.
No,
brilliant.
not all of them. Were, you know what I mean? There's a lot of them. You know, I'm not going to watch. And I'm a fan of his work. You know what I mean? But I like more of his sci-fi, his monster movies, his poor stuff. You know, Wild Angels, the counterculture stuff.
And I reckon, I mean, it's a great... I would love to be Roger Corman and just make my living making films, banging them out. I like it, it's fun.
That's it.
Filmmaking the filmmaking it, the whole thing is interesting, writing it, then prepping it and production.
That's it. And
it's a great way to make a living and interesting, you know.
As I said, there was only one film that didn't make money, and it only made money in 2011.
That was The Intruder.
It's an attempt to make a really serious film, and it fell flat on its arse. But he was dealing with...
it was the subject matter that people didn't like.
At that time, I mean, dealing with racism in there. There was, I mean, it was still...
And was that in the language as well? Is it going to be dodgy language sort of thing?
I don't know about the language. I think it was the subject matter.
Subject matter. And Shatner's superb.
Yeah, it was about black and whites in the South America.
Lynchings and stuff like that.
Not South America, but the South of America. Yeah.
But anyways, a bit of trivia on this. Also known as Swamp Diamonds, as featured in an episode of Mystery Science Theatre. The first of 5 Beverly Garland films. She played Vera, directed by Corman, which I've only seen Swamp Woman. Gunslinger, It Conquered the World, I've seen that. Naked Paradise, I've not seen, and Not of This Earth.
I'm surprised you haven't seen Naked Paradise. That's got your name all over it.
It Conquered the World.
Blue Cupboard.
Yeah.
See, It Conquered the World was a fantastic sci-fi film he made in the back then. With the creature. As soon as you googled it and you seen the creature, you'd go,
yeah, I know it. Yeah.
And Not of This Earth was a cracker. It got remade by Jim Wynorski remade it with Tracy Lords in it.
All right. Okay. The glamour model.
The ex-porn star.
Yeah. I was trying to be a bit more diplomatic about it, to be honest, right? The one who gets her baps out.
One of the films in 50 Worst Films of All Time.
Oh, nice.
Swamp Woman.
It's the worst film of all time.
No, it's in the top 50 though.
Top 50.
In the top 50.
Yeah, well done. You picked a blinder, mate.
I'm number 1 in the worst film ever.
That's it. So
get on.
so that's the trivia, which is not bad.
Yeah.
As I say, it was a bit. There was some boring bits in it, and I can understand why you zoned out.
But it's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube, yeah.
It's
something you could have on in the background.
Yes.
Yeah.
Black and white.
Yeah.
Black and white. I think there's a colourised version on there as well.
I think I'd watch it black and white.
I think I watched the colourised, maybe. I can't remember now.
I watched the black and white version.
Right.
Okay.
And I found it on YouTube. So yeah, Swamp Women.
See, when I'm playing tunes, I like to have something playing in the background sometimes.
Okay. Well, that's okay. So
yeah.
So pretty women from the 50s, and crocodiles.
Sounds so.
That's a good background.
Sounds so.
Yeah.
It's the bikinis.
Take either one away and it's still good.
Tight tops and
short
shorts.
All right, that'll do.
Yeah, that's it.
It's close.
Close enough.
Sex and death. That's
Sex
it's
and
right.
Sex
All
and
there.
death.
It's all there.
It's all I want.
Yeah.
So, anyways, over to Dazzle.
Are we going up to me now? You
Yeah,
threw me
so
off there. I'm confused by the format.
Yeah. We'll start it for next time.
It's all right.
In order, but yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to 1975, and obviously this isn't a Roger Corman direction. But he was very much behind this.
Oh yeah.
Roger Corman, and it was directed by Paul Bartel, and it's Death Race 2000.
And he played the Doctor.
Fucking. That was
Oh, shit. I do this every time.
I haven't even started, and he's used one of my bits of bloody trivia.
I'm sorry.
Shit, man.
That's all he's got written on a bit.
The director
You know what,
plays the
mate?
Doctor.
Why don't you read this one out? So you've got David Carradine in there, or Carradine, I don't know who. It depends.
Carradine, I say.
Yeah.
You say Carradine? Oh, well, okay.
Okay, Carradine.
Okay, well, we'll go with Carradine then. I would say
Maybe
Carradine.
there's been a Mandela effect,
Yeah.
and it's in another life it's
Carradine.
Carradine.
Yeah. And then you've got, he plays Frankenstein. He plays Frankenstein. You've got Sly Stallone. It was his first role before PD says it. Or it was his first feature film.
I did not done that porno before it.
Oh, come on. He might have.
I'm sure he'd done that, but
Bang, bang, bang.
yeah. And it maybe got released after it. But yeah.
This is really
I'm not
credited
gonna
as his
Google it.
first.
No.
No. You have to go into the fucking dark web.
Something that
How do you know?
it was called,
I'm
it
guessing.
got released as the Italian Stallion, and it was called something at Kitty and Somethings
Yeah.
originally. Yeah,
But we don't really count that.
no.
No, this was a serious acting role.
They know far too much about this film. Don't
Yeah,
they?
this was a serious acting role.
Well, I wouldn't go that serious, but it was.
His career was on the up, wasn't it?
He
To help him this
delivers some great one-liners in this.
He does.
Simone Griffith plays Annie. You've got Mary Warrenoff plays Calamity Jane. Roberta Collins plays Matilda the Hun.
Nice.
Martin Cove, who
Yeah.
was
One of his early
in
roles.
Who's what?
Karate Kid. He was. What's his name in it? I've just watched all of
Nero
Cobra
the
Kai.
Hero.
No.
Oh, in Cobra Kai, Crease.
Crease. Yeah.
Don't attack me.
shit.
Please don't attack me. But I've never watched.
You know what? I'm sure.
I've never watched Karate Kid.
I'm sure you've said this last time.
Yeah,
What,
you did, aye.
I have seen it, but I don't like it, so.
What, Karate Kid?
don't like Karate Kid.
Oh well, fair enough.
Yeah, it was. It was one of
You
the-
didn't. Maybe you didn't watch it at the time.
No, I watched it at the time.
Oh well.
I
fuck
just,
you.
yeah, I just wanted to.
All
I
right.
was giving you an out.
It's one of those films that, like, Close Encounters and stuff that, like, I don't like that
What?
else loves. Yeah, I don't like Close Encounters.
What?
Of the third kind.
What?
Yeah, no, let's attack him physically.
I'm going to kick the shit out of you outside.
Just keep punching him until
hell.
like
Till he
close
drops.
encounters, yeah.
I'm going to phone Jess now and tell her you're coming home tonight.
Yeah.
Jesus, you.
Go on, go on.
Top Gun, anyone that else gets a good one.
Louisa Mortez as Myra, Don Steele as Junior Bruce, the compere.
He's great.
Yeah, he is. Joyce Jameson as Grace Panda, and she's great. She's a personal friend of mine. John Landis is in there as a mechanic.
Really?
Yeah. And obviously this is before he's done anything. This is in '75.
This
So
is
he'll
him
have-
desperately trying to get into the
Yeah.
movie game.
I mean, he'll have just been milling about doing effects or something.
Yeah.
Probably. I don't know. I don't know how he got his start, to be honest, John Landis. I'm guessing it's effects and stuff, because that seems to be where he sort of like went in it.
Yeah.
Down that
Yeah.
path.
It's just another in that Corman helped out.
Yeah.
John Landis. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Paul Bartel was Frankenstein's doctor. Don't know if anyone's told you that already. And Dick Miller.
Frankenstein.
Yeah, Frankenstein. Dick Miller's in there. Very briefly, as part of the Chicken Gang.
He was in a lot of Corman films, wasn't he?
Yeah. Well, they were mates, weren't they?
Yeah.
And Dick Miller. I mean, this is in the documentary, but Dick Miller approaches Corman and says, "Oh, I'm a writer."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, I really need actors. I'm an actor.
Yeah.
that's basically what happened.
There you go.
So that was cool. So the premises of Death Race, it's quite a simple premise. There's only 5. It's madness. Like, there's only 5 cars driving across America. Right, and they're always all together or very near, but they can pick their own paths,
So is the goal to get to the other side of America?
but kill as many people on the way.
Right, okay.
Gain points. So the scoring system is women are always 10 more than men. I think they left something out of this scoring because they didn't tell us how much men were worth.
Aye.
But 10 women are always worth 10 points more than men. Fair enough. Teenagers are worth 40.
Okay.
Yeah. toddlers, that's people under 12 apparently in this.
Yeah.
They're worth 70. and
This is nihilistic, isn't it?
yeah.
Fucking amazing.
Yeah. And then over 75 is 100.
Oh, so they
So the longer they live, the more points they get for it, the more life
okay.
force they're taking. There's nothing
So
of that.
that's
There's
it,
none of that life force shit.
that set of rules is harsh. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh,
so-
it is. And I mean, I can remember, you know, as a kid, driving down, you know, with my dad in the car, and Dad jokingly saying, "There's none there, son. 50 points."
Yeah.
They were just laughing at that.
And that's where it comes from.
And that's
isn't
where
it?
it all come from.
Woman and baby.
Yeah.
Woman and baby. That's the
That's
worst
it.
one because there's loads of shitting points there. Like,
There was
especially,
Grandma and baby.
especially if it's a girl baby. It's 10 points more than man.
yeah, that's it.
So that's the best thing. Just aim for grandmas with babies.
Grandma's
Yeah.
got a whole family.
with female babies.
Yeah, a whole family of females.
But to be honest, in the whole film, there's not that much really in the way of killing.
So they're all
No.
a bit shit at it then, really.
No,
Did somebody's head come off? That's what I seem to remember.
Yes, someone's head comes
yeah,
off,
gets squished.
squished by a wheel of a
Yeah,
car.
which looks great.
There's some great practical effects in it, actually. There's some really good...
And the cars are
like,
fantastic.
the cars are great. And you know what I meant to do? I meant to look up what cars they were based on or what they
right,
were
yeah.
built round. Because, I mean, I've got a big love for, like, American cars, like muscle cars and stuff like that. And a lot of these were a lot shorter wheels based.
And I'm sure.
And I would say they were more like Europeans, and I reckon they're more like Beetles underneath and stuff like
really?
that. Like I reckon they've used like Baja bugs underneath and then built the chassis, built the
I'm sure
body
that- I mean,
work
you
over.
can get some
I
of
might
the
see if I
kind
can
of-
find it. It might be in the trivia. I
you
might
can
not
get
know.
some of the cars kind of in like Hot Wheels and all that.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah,
you know what I mean? They've
Yeah,
made similar.
yeah.
And that's kind of what it sounds like. It sounds like Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like it's funny that people.
When you think
anyone I know
a bit
who's got
Mad
Grand.
Maxy before Mad
Yeah.
Max.
Oh, it was well before that.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
But anyone I know with Grand Theft Auto pretty quickly goes around collecting points like that, just ramming people.
You don't get points for that.
And it's
though,
like
mate.
the dark side is allowed to come out, you know.
Yeah. You don't get points for that on Grand Theft Auto. That's just mindless killing.
Yeah.
It's
You
even
know what I mean?
worse. They
There's
don't know
points.
your name. I mean,
Unless you stop and pick up the cash.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it sounds very.
I'm a gamer, mate.
This sounds very gamey, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Very
I'd love
Yeah.
to see a Death Race game come out.
Okay.
Well, there was.
What round the remake game?
No.
Remake film.
No. Back in the Spectrum days, called Death Race.
Oh, you see, Spectrum,
and you were on a motorbike and you killed
Right.
people.
I mean,
Who were
would,
like
would
little
that be
stick men.
allowed to
Right.
come out? Wouldn't that be controversial? That the aim is to run over babies and women and.
Oh, absolutely. It
Oh,
wouldn't get made
completely.
now.
Like, would they,
Yeah.
they'd have to do
Wouldn't get made
something
now.
with all
Yeah.
that, wouldn't they?
Well,
you know?
they remade it. Well, they used the title. They didn't really remake it. They used elements of Death Race. And
How did they update it?
well, it was
Yes,
set in a
it's
prison.
it's set
It was
in a
set in a prison. They have laps around the prison in like souped up cars with weapons. I mean, these cars had weapons, but they were very crude weapons. So
they
like
could just kill
a
each
machine
other and
gun.
that was
Yeah,
it?
Yeah.
Right.
But these, and they've got weapons like that get switched on electronically and stuff. I mean, the remake was what 2008, I want to say.
The remake was.
Was it still called Death Race 2000?
It was just called Death Race.
Oh, Death Race.
Because 2000 had gone.
Yeah. And 2000,
2008,
Death
yeah.
Race 2009. doesn't
Roger
sound
Corman.
as good.
Roger Corman was the executive producer on it.
On the
And he-
new one?
Yeah.
On the new one, yeah.
And
Oh, right.
he did remake it. It was remade. Not that long ago. 2017, I think. As Roger Corman's Death Race 2050.
Oh, and you see, that'd be interesting. Yeah, like a
So
play
what, so
more
they
of a
made
play on
another
that.
one?
Yeah, and that's got Malcolm McDowell in it.
All right, okay.
That's always good.
Yeah, yeah.
And that Manu Bennett.
Manu Bennett.
He played Deathstroke in the Arrow universe.
Oh, I never watched Arrow.
Well.
I've just looked up because you're saying you're actually bloody closer with the cars you thought it was.
Was I?
Yeah, it's the rebodied Volkswagens. There's a Volkswagen Carmen
How
Gear.
did you know that?
Because I know
From the
cars.
wheels?
Well, no, the wheelbase and how far the wheels are set apart.
What's a wheelbase?
Well, how far the wheels are set apart.
Oh, so they were too close together to be a big car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They look more European than muscle cars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and
So,
there was
yeah.
one Fiat
Right.
A
Fiat 1 to Fiat 500 or something about it.
Fiat 850, it says Spider chassis.
Tiny like that.
Oh, they're like Mario Kart.
Yeah, basically. But you can tell some of them are like that, the cars.
Really?
Because, I mean, you'd expect them to, they go in cross-country, you'd expect them to be long, sloping, cruising cars. Right, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got them on there.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? That's made for the motorway, mate. So you want something that cruises, you know what I mean? Rather than something that's tiny and like that zips around, which is what they are like in...
So would you rather have a small car with amazing weapons or a big car with shit weapons?
Big car with shit weapons.
Okay. I'll take your word for it because you sound like you spotted a Volkswagen from the wheels. It's still astounding to me, yeah.
No,
I'm still trying to process that.
it's just... Anyway, so...
That's a talent.
It's not. It's knowing cars and stuff there, but so they're getting from side to side. You've got Frankenstein, who's like, he's won it more times than anyone else. You've got Machine Gun Joe, which is Sylvester Stallone's character, who's hell bent on winning, and more than anything else.
What did they win? What's the goal? What's the prize?
The prize is fucking really undescript. I don't even say there is a prize. It's like the glory of being the winner of Death Race.
Because it's the biggest TV show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's on TV. So they become celebrities.
They're already celebrities.
It's the be all and end all of that society is the Death Race.
I mean, it's dystopian. It's dystopian future. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
like
not,
Mad Maxy kind of thing.
Yeah, basically.
There's loads of poor people. And there's the cities with the rich and the president.
Hunger Games is kind of like that as well.
Yeah.
So there's some vague politics in there.
And this is nearly 50 years ago.
Yeah. Okay.
75.
Yeah.
So there's politics in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, sorry, guys.
But so you think it's a simple story of these 5 races? I mean, there's the battle between Frankenstein and Machine Gun Joe, but there's also the love story between Frankenstein and his co-pilot, Navigator, who's a rebel trying to stop the races.
Like an infiltrator.
Yeah. But at the same time, so she's wanting to stop Frankenstein, but Frankenstein actually wants it all to fucking stop as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's sick of it.
I mean, he just wants to get to the end, meet the president, and fucking do him over.
Right.
That's his goal, but he doesn't let anyone know that.
Okay.
And so there is a bit of a story to it. It's not just mindless
You've just
violence.
grown tired of the whole
whole
circus of it all.
Yeah,
basically.
And being held. I mean, he was brought up in a he didn't have parents or anything. He was brought up in a military thing to be the best driver ever, to be Frankenstein. He was geared up to do this all his life, so he wanted to make the man who made him go through that pay.
Yeah, okay.
And that's basically the premise of the film, and it's only 80 minutes long, and that's right in my remit there, Wolf. You know what I mean?
Right.
You could watch it twice in fucking Midsummer, probably.
Exactly. I'll get to that with my next film.
Right, okay, yeah. So, but Death Race, man, I absolutely love it. And I'll say one thing about this film. This film was one of them films that went round the schoolyard. Have you seen Death Race? Oh, and it's like... And
That's
I mean,
how
I'm
I
talking,
remember it, yeah.
Yeah. Now, I never got to see it then. Even when the kids at school were talking about it. It was... God, it'll have been in the 90s or even maybe in the 2000s when I bought it at Music Zone. When I worked there, I think it might have been that late. It might have been in the 2000s when I actually got to watch it.
Okay.
And I bought it. I was like, well, I'm going to fucking have it because I've heard so much about it.
And it'll be dirt cheap because it
was
everywhere.
Music Zone.
Yeah.
And the head coming off. That's what I remember from it.
Yeah. But I wasn't disappointed, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I absolutely adore that film. I think it's cracking fun. I watched it again today. Just today.
Oh, really?
Like literally a couple of hours before I came here. I finished work at 3:30. I was watching it by 4:00.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. Aye. And so there we go. I'll give you a bits of trivia on it. We've said that Paul Bartel was the Frankenstein's doctor, and he's uncredited in that. Dick Miller was uncredited in it as well.
Paul Bartel wrote and directed and starred in loads of great bits and bobs.
Right.
I don't know Paul.
You'd recognise him if you see him. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Right. So I'll give you. I don't think there's much on this. David Carradine and Sylvester Stallone did much of the driving in their own driving in that film.
Carradine.
No, Frankenstein. Carradine, Frankenstein.
Hang on, that sounds like what they say on The Evil Dead.
Oh no!
Didn't it? Down the
No.
What's going to happen now?
Oh, I totally recognise Paul Bartel, yeah, when I see him.
Yeah. There was scenes that were drove on the streets, but there wasn't much really when you think about it. There was a lot of dirt tracks. There was a lot of sweeping highways, I suppose. Not even highways. They're the ones where they go around mountains and stuff.
Was there a kind of a pointed car?
Yes. There was.
That's what I remember.
Yeah,
as well.
there was a German car.
Yeah,
with a fucking missile in a swastika. No, it didn't have a swastika.
I was going to say, well, they're all
it had the
Volkswagen.
German iron cross on it.
But did you not see the flags with the swastikas on? You see a guy with a swastika.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
I didn't. No, but they didn't.
Easter egg.
Yeah, they had the iron cross. But yeah. The role of Frankenstein was originally offered to Peter Fonda.
Yeah.
And he said the film was too ridiculous for words. David Carradine.
Like Peter Fonda.
Yeah, you gotta love him, man. He never made any shit. David Carradine refused to wear leather, so costume designer Jane Rum had to make Carradine's iconic black outfit out of another fabric that looked just like leather. Pleather. That's what we call it now.
Yeah.
Pleather. And this is fucking cracking. Sylvester Stallone wrote some of his own dialogue for the film. And I think he did an alright job in it.
You said he had some good one-liners, did he?
He actually did.
He's a bastard in it.
Oh, he's an absolute cock. I mean, most of his like anger goes towards his like co-driver.
Goes towards women.
Yeah, because he's got a code. They've all got co-drivers, and they're usually they're all the opposite sex, aren't they?
Yeah.
In this,
So it's kind of a bit like Cannonball Run with guns.
Yeah.
It's very much Cannonball Run. I mean, they have stop-offs.
Yeah.
Where they have massages, like a weird stop-off with a massage and stuff, and they've got the baps out and stuff like that.
Right.
Even Carradine.
It sounds like the incestuous cousin of the film you just said.
Cannonball Run.
Yeah. Oh, this is the seedy cousin.
Yeah, the grimiest films.
Although made before Cannonball Run.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Cannonball Run ripped off Death Race 2000. You heard it here.
I wonder if the GTA people didn't pick something off of that. Do you know what I mean?
No, you know what? I think Death Race 2000 has been instrumental in like in a lot of films. I think they've taken bits of it because it is an iconic film. I think it's one of his like biggest. I think Corman and I think Death Race 2000. Honestly, I would always go to that.
Was he the producer then?
Yeah, he was a producer.
right,
But he was massively down.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
You just said he was hugely influential, but I mean, you said he was producer.
But his style's all over it. I mean, one of the opening shots, you see some grandstands and stuff like that, and it's all good, loads of people.
Yeah.
And then, like, onto one side, you just see, like, it's not even a matte drawing, it's like in crayon. Just about.
It's
really?
It's in pencil, you know. It's a matte
right.
painting, but it looks like it's done in crayons or pencil. You know what I mean? It's not like.
He's not blended it in.
It's not like J.M. Quarry or whatever it is who did the Star Wars shit. You know what I mean? It's like some dude that got his kid to do it. No, that's not true. It's very good. I absolutely adore this film. If you've never seen it, it's on Amazon. So there you go, that's me done with that little bad boy.
It'll be on YouTube as well.
Yeah, I would have thought so, yeah.
So, over to myself, and it's Monster from 1980, also known as Humanoids from the Deep. And I first saw this about 82 on VHS, which was the uncut one, I believe. The British print was back then. And it was as Monster, and it's fantastic. and I've just posted the videotape up on Facebook and Instagram and all that just yesterday.
I'll have seen
I've
it.
dug it out of my collection.
I'll have seen it. I'll have just scroll by it.
Scroll by
to be
it.
honest.
It's that shite.
Well, not him again.
Directed by Barbara Peters and Jimmy T. Murakami, with a story by Frank Arnold and Martin B. Coyne. And it's just a cracking creature feature. Screenplay by William Martin, and it's set in the fishing village of Noyo in California. And the film kicks off with a bang. Anglers catching what seems to be the summit trapped in the nets. Little boy falls in, gets killed straight away. No skin out, you know what I mean? This was produced by Corman.
Yeah.
This one. And he was heavily involved in it as well.
Yeah.
And so nothing. Then through a thing of mishaps, the boat gets blown up with everybody on it, and Doug McClure sees it happen and going, "Oh, what's going
Doug
on?"
McClure.
Doug McClure.
Doug McClure's in it.
Okay,
I know. I'm surprised his name has not come up before today.
And then there's teenagers getting abducted and raped and murdered, because it's possibly, I've got to say, it's possibly the rapiest creature feature you'll ever see.
Right up your street,
That's Woff loves shit like that.
You love creatures raping people.
There's an in-joke.
It's an in-joke. It's an
That's his
in-joke.
porn viewing. That's his
We'll
porn.
explain it
This
explain it after the thing. 'Cause it's an in-joke.
It's not. This is not true, by the way. Any of this.
It's got a great cast as well, and the film features the always brilliant Doug McClure as our hero Jim Hill.
So what year was this? Sorry, Peter?
1980.
So this is late period McClure, is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
very
Vintage
much.
McClure.
Vintage McClure.
Vintage
yeah.
McClure.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is
It's his blue phase.
yeah, this is horror film phase.
Sorry?
This is his horror film phase because he's done The House Where Death Lives as well, which was like an erotic horror.
Okay.
Yeah, I think was it Susan George is in that with him?
Ooh,
Susanna George.
Susan George.
Aye. So yeah, Doug plays Jim Hill, and he's fantastic. He's all, you know, he's getting the guns and looking for the creature, and he's
So
got my son.
where does the creature come from?
The deep.
The deep.
Oh, the deep.
Yeah. Well, I don't.
Humanoids of the deep.
Oh, yeah, of
Obviously-
course. Yeah. I keep thinking of monster.
Yeah.
Humanoids of the deep. And is it humanoid?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, it's
It's a bloke in a suit.
yeah.
In the water.
Vic Murray. I'll get to it. Don't worry. Vic Moreau. Do you know who died in Twilight Zone in the the helicopter crash?
Oh,
Yeah. He plays the villain in this, and he looks a bit Quinty, which he kind of done roughly done The Last Shark, where he plays a very Quint-like character. Because there's little bits kind of Jawsy as well.
Well,
you know
they're going to, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, if they're opening with someone doing fishing,
And Vic Moreau plays Hank Slattery, and he's a bit of a bigot, and he's wanting the local Indian lot not to be
local.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. We own this place. Yous don't.
Right.
You know, that kind of thing. And the Indians are wanting to try and stop a cannery that's opening.
Is this Native American?
No, I was going to say
Yeah.
Native Americans.
Sorry, Native Americans. Well, you know,
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
When you
I didn't know which
At least
Indians.
say red Indians.
Red
Come on, man.
you know what I mean?
Go full racist.
No, I wasn't trying to be, you know what I mean?
It's like Eskimo and Inuit, isn't it? You can't
Yeah.
really have to say Inuit.
And I mean, to be honest, the cast's quite solid. There's only a couple of folk you'll recognise, which is Doug and Vic.
Yeah.
But it's not cheesy.
They're not shit.
No, the actors aren't shit. You know what I mean? It's quite well acted. It's well made.
And does it look 80s?
Oh yeah. Well, it's late. It was been made 79.
Is it 79?
Well, it came out 1980, but it will have been made 79.
Yeah.
So it's got that crossover.
It's like The Shining, that was out in 1980, but it also feels like it's got that late 70s look to
yeah.
it. It's,
Yeah. And one of the standout sequences is the salmon festival near the end, where the creatures just attack, and the creatures look like a cross between the creature from the Black Lagoon and Swamp Thing.
Well, they're going to have to be sort of like
with like
you'd have to have
long gangly
gills
arms.
Yeah.
And they've got gills, and they've got like you can top the heads like it's a brain thing here, and they look weird.
Good.
Oh yeah, because it was Rob Bottin or Rob Bottin.
Bottin. Oh, he did the thing.
Who done the thing?
Right. Yeah.
He done the effects on it.
Oh,
and
that's
Steve
cool.
Johnson worked on it as
I
well.
mean, this is just before the thing, really.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a couple of years before the thing. And Rob Bottin's. I mean,
So this is his career on the up, sort of. Or on the move.
Yeah,
here we go. Yeah.
And he'll have done,
I don't know how much he did
and
before.
he'll have done Howling as well, round about the same time.
No, Joe Dante's film.
Joe Dante, which
Oh, no,
Was
another-
that the same effects guy on who did the Howling?
yeah,
Ah, right.
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
It makes
The
sense.
Howling's
doesn't it?
good effects, aren't they?
So
Oh, I love the Howling.
the creature.
Yeah.
I
Love
mean,
the Howling.
I'll get to a bit more about the creatures as I go on. But I mean, it's a full. There's bullets and bodies flying everywhere.
I remember.
Heads and limbs are
Seen
getting ripped off. The creature and the gore effects. As I say, Rob
I've seen it.
It's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, I've seen it. I've just seen the creature there.
Oh, sure,
Yeah,
Clive.
I've definitely seen that film.
Yeah.
And you know something. And there's plenty of nubile young lady flesh in there for.
There has to be.
When I was a teenager, I was a young lad at the time, so
Sex sells,
getting
man.
to see boobs.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
And this has got loads of boobs, and I'll tell you why it's got loads of boobs, because it wasn't filmed that way.
All right. Okay.
It was a case of
Put more boobs in it.
Roger Corman. It was first filmed, and all the kind of creature rape attack things were all in shadows, and you couldn't see anything. And Roger Corman was like, "I need boobs."
Yeah.
So the second unit filmed most of the
Boobs out.
boob scenes and
The one time it didn't suck to be the second unit.
the rape scenes and stuff like that.
Well, I'm not. No.
There was only
wasn't saying that,
3
like.
creature suits.
Right.
Even though you see the attack looks like there's so many of them.
It's just done cleverly
It's just,
shot.
Yeah, it's just cleverly shot.
Cleverly edited.
Yeah.
Brilliant. That's what we like. Now, he was good at that. I mean, I don't know if Corman had anything to do with the
And it's
editing.
James
but
Horner on the score. You know what I mean? So, James Horner was coming up as well.
Yeah.
I think this was his second score.
What else has he done?
James Horner, oh God, Google. I can't, off the top of my head, I can't think while I'm talking about the rest. Waffle. And I've had it on VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, and obviously the creatures come from experiments that went wrong and escaped. A bit like Watchers in a way, escaped to.
Sort of Godzilla style.
Well, no, they're not that big. They're about 7 foot.
No, but how they came about was like we did something wrong and it released.
We did it.
Yeah,
we
kind
did
of
it.
thing.
They've come back.
He did some pretty big ones. He did Titanic, Aliens,
He's James Cameron's
Commando.
go-to man.
Okay, so another career started.
American Beauty, Braveheart, pretty big.
Oh
So,
yeah, that guy's,
you know what I mean?
That's A-list, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
I've got it Blu-ray as well. I've got the Scream Factory release of it, and it's also available to stream on MGM Plus, which is on.
So when you get all
Amazon.
these versions, PD, are they the same film or are they
Yeah, a
different?
lot of the time,
are
just
they
different
restored?
format.
Yeah.
Just I've got it on VHS. I've got a DVD of it, which will be up in the attic. My collection down here, when it goes back, only consists of Blu-ray and VHS, and the odd DVD.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My DVDs are all up in the attic.
Right.
Boxes full of them, which was just silly. And it's on YouTube as well. So if you've not seen it, you've got to pay for it if you haven't got MGM Plus on Prime. But it's the full version. It's only an hour and 20 minutes long, and
It's my kind of film.
and it wastes no time getting into it.
Yeah.
As well, it's kind of quick in there.
That's always a good idea. Isn't
Yeah, which is, not far in, you get the boy getting eaten by the creature. You see it at the start, it's like with the creature of the Black Lagoon, you just see a hand.
it? Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's done well. It really is a good creature. It's a good monster movie.
No, I've definitely seen it. I've definitely seen it.
And again,
Long time ago.
Another quick watch, which seemed to be a Roger Corman thing. And out of all the films, was only one film that crossed the magical 90-minute mark, the hour and a half mark.
The Intruder.
No, out of all the films we're talking
go
about
on.
tonight. Watchers
That would fucking
by
be
1 minute.
Oh,
So it's still in the wheelhouse, but by 1 minute it crossed there.
fucking waff.
Yeah.
Waff again with his bloody,
his
with
longer
his bloody
films.
mammoth films that
You
you
need
have
an
to,
interval now.
that you have to break down it exactly. Yeah, you need a piss break halfway through.
90 minutes I can do it.
You little bastard.
It's like extra
Always
minutes.
you.
So yeah, and that comes in at, as I said, 91 minutes, a whopping 91 minutes for Watchers.
Spot on.
And this is only Monsters is only like an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's nothing really, you know what I mean?
Death Race was exactly the same, but you know it's absolutely long enough.
It's perfect.
It's long
perfect.
enough. It's told the story.
Well, yeah, if it's not done right, 80 minutes can feel like 2 hours, can't it?
It can,
can.
absolutely
You know what I mean?
it can,
Very
yeah.
easily,
It absolutely
like,
can.
and-
And you think, oh, it's only 10 minutes past.
How long was your film?
Oh, sure, an hour and 3 minutes.
No,
Oh.
my one. Not Wasp Woman. Do you mean Wasp Woman?
No, I mean your movie.
Mine was,
Oh.
I can't remember, about 100 minutes, 9 minutes, somewhere
It was
around
perfect.
that.
Like it was
Yeah.
perfectly. Like,
Great. For which we'll get,
we definitely need to talk
sit
about
down
that
and
one
talk
time,
about it with Clive.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
Really
So
enjoyed
a
it.
bit of trivia, anyways. I mean, it look, Monster, Humorous from the Deep. It's just exploitative, silly, fun, gory monster movie that is really worth checking out.
Yeah.
It made helped make a few careers on folk on the way up, which all these films we've talked about seem to have, and it's just great, gory. Yeah, it was originally offered to Joe Dante, but he turned it down.
Was he gearing up
Well,
for
he
the
was
Howling?
howling. He was obviously getting set for the Howling.
Thank God
Yeah.
he did that, eh?
Oh, I love the Howling. I think it's cracking.
Yeah, it is.
And Peters accepted the film, but she wasn't happy as well, and she tried to get her name removed from it, because when she had filmed it, Corman wanted more boot, as I mentioned before. So when she sat and watched, when she finally got to see the film, there was all these bits that she hadn't filmed, and she tried to get her name removed off it.
Right.
And she went to
Yeah,
Corman.
that'd be a very difficult thing nowadays, wouldn't it? More boobs is like...
Yeah.
It wouldn't... The audience would reject it, wouldn't they, very quickly?
Yeah, that's it. But back then, that was a big thing.
Yeah.
So Corman
Definitely
said
get a lot
to
more
her,
man's arses these days. I've noticed when I'm watching stuff. There's like a lot of man's arses.
yeah,
So
a
they've
lot
kind of
more.
went, we can't, because of the whole Me Too thing, which isn't a bad thing, but because of that, it's like we've got to compensate by showing lots of men's arses.
I think our trouble is that we were alive during the transition. If you're just used to men's arses, it's no bother, is it? But that
Yeah.
still comes in, like Game of Thrones, like, oh,
Red Triangle stuff, Channel 4.
yeah, there you go.
Which we've had discussions about. You know what I mean? Gerard Depardieu?
Oh, Eurotrash and all that.
Yeah. No, can you remember the Gerard Depardieu? He's
Oh no, I'm thinking of the other one.
Woff's
Eurotrash.
Woff's
well, it's
difficult one.
Channel 4 late at night.
Yeah, yeah,
so-
yeah.
Can you remember that joke?
What was that?
Gerard Depardieu? Gerard Depardieu?
I can't
Tit.
know.
Well, I was saying that when I was a kid, I used to watch stick Channel 4 on late at night and kind of hoped I might see a boob or something because you're just horny as hell. And like, I'd all stick like French films and stuff on because I feel, and Gerard Depardieu was often involved, so it'd be like, you'd be kind of, oh yeah, boob, and then Gerard Depardieu would pop up.
Can you not remember that joke?
I don't
in an
remember
episode
that.
you did?
No.
It was hilarious. We were in stitches.
Was I here?
Yeah, you were here. So yeah, so she wasn't happy. She tried to get her name moved off it, and so that was kind of that really. The budget was 2.5 million, and the monster costumes were designed and created by Rob Bottin.
Amazing.
That's not a bad budget, actually.
No.
I mean, it would be still definitely low budget, but
Yeah.
That's it.
But Rob Bottin, man, he didn't need money.
The second
was
unit
a
director, who directed a lot of the boobs and other bits, would later go on to direct Deathstalker.
There you go, boobs.
and how do you direct boobs?
Well,
Chicken more to the left, please.
which the sequel,
More excitement, please.
the
Ice
Deathstalker
cubes.
sequel was
Much
done
more
by
with
Jim
feeling.
Wynorski.
Huh?
Sorry,
Deathstalker 2 was done by
Yeah.
Jim Wynorski.
Yeah, of course it was.
And oh yeah, that was it. Humanoids was kind of full circle because it was a bit like Corman's first film that he ever produced, which was Monster from the Ocean Floor back in 1954. And then there was Del Tenney's Horror of Party Beach, which was a film my dad got me to watch because he said it was like Monster, which it's a very similar kind of premise.
And again, it goes up with that vague, sexy stuff and death.
And it's classed as shark exploitation.
Is it now? Well, because we've done a shark exploitation episode.
Have you?
Yeah, it was exciting.
And there was going to be a sequel, Humanoids of the Deep 2, The Next Generation, where the creatures by this time had learnt to talk.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Thank fuck that didn't happen.
And was planned to be released in 1991, but it never happened. And there was a remake in 96.
Really?
Yeah, which starred Robert Carradine.
Right.
Carradine.
Frankenstein.
Emma Sams, Justin Walker, Mark Rolston, and Clint Howard as well.
Oh, Clint.
And that was released on DVD in 2003.
Fucking hell.
So it was made in 96 for TV and released in 2003.
Have you by chance seen that?
Do you know something? I don't think I have, but I'm gonna try and find it and watch it.
Oh, it's going to be shite.
And there we go. There we go. So yeah, Monster, Humanoids from the Deep. I saw that was Humanoids of the Deep, Monster from 1980, and we're going to go straight over to Mr. Clive Tonge. There we go.
Oh my God, you've done it twice.
Second time anybody outside my family's pronounced that right.
And I got it right quite quickly as well.
You got it first time?
Yeah. Once he pronounced it to me.
Well, that's not hard to do, is it?
No, but I bet he's pronounced it to a lot of people and still get it wrong.
I'm with you, PD.
Cheers. Can you say it?
Tonge?
Well, you can now.
I can't believe that's the third person.
I've never. As soon as I heard it, I was like, well, that's his name.
It's
That's
a weird, horrible name.
It's not.
But it's compensated by my first name, which is Clive.
Proper normal.
If you spell it backwards.
Evil.
C. Evil C. Yeah, no, that's got points.
I just saw the evil bit, to be honest, mate.
Evil C, yeah. Tonge's egg knotter, which is shit.
So,
It is.
so anyways, we're going over to Clive Tonge, our latest member of the Carlisle Cult Cinema Club present podcast team.
Oh, Jesus.
It's a mouthful. But you know what I mean.
Catchy, man.
It's going to catch on.
Can we just say CCCC presents?
Well,
Even that's hard. CCC, how many what?
Four C's.
CCCP, the USSR.
Right, okay. C times 4.
Back in the USSR.
C times 4 presents.
Right, come on.
C4? No, go on.
Go on.
Not C4.
So
It's different.
we're over to Clive Tonge.
Just Clive.
Clive. No, I'm just.
Or Evil C.
Evil C. For the last film of the pod.
So another one that I watched was The Wasp Woman. PD, have you got the year there? Just
1959, 1 hour 3 minutes long.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay.
Starring Susan Cabot, Anthony Isley.
I think Susan Cabot might have had a career afterwards.
I think this was one of the last films, to be honest, Susan Cabot.
Oh, so this was the end of her career.
But she went on to a bit of TV as well. So yeah, Barbara Morris, William Roick, Michael Mark, Frank Gressel, who'd been in, there was a lot of who'd been in Corman films around this time, the 50s kind of ones he'd done. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was right up my street. And guess who done the remake?
Oh, go on. Right. What's this? Wasp Woman.
I know about these. There's been 2 remakes, I think.
There has.
Wasp Woman.
One was in the 90s, was it? But I don't know who did them.
Come on, we've already mentioned he done a remake of...
Not Wynorski.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Jim Wynorski.
Jim Wynorski.
I don't know Jim Wynorski, sorry.
He did Chopping Mall.
Oh,
Deathstalker 2.
Yeah, he's a friend of the show. He was the first person.
He was the first, director.
Within a couple of episodes as well. It wasn't as if we'd done
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've been friends with him on Facebook for years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he directed the 95 remake, and Rejuvenator was the other one, the 80s one.
Okay. That's
yeah, which is good. I can remember it was always on cheap VHS. You could get it in the markets on them cheap cardboard boxed VHS.
Yeah. What's that one called?
Rejuvenator. And that was, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what it did. That's what the film boils down to, really. Again, I'm going to go for the story angle, if you like. So I think the setup and what's actually coming out of this conversation is, even though it's sometimes very thin
on the plot,
there is there's some politics at work sometimes, like Death Race 2000.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So when you think of an exploitation film, they're probably exploiting that something in society, aren't they? And to just times it by 2000 rather than it's not subtle, is it?
No.
Yeah.
So Wasp Woman's the same. So it's a great setup, I think, because it's a woman who called Janice, and she's the face of a cosmetics company, and she has been forever. She's getting a bit old, and there's wrinkles, and the sales are dropping. So that's a character with a real dilemma.
I would have started using somebody else as the face, and as soon as I did that, sales started dropping because she was the face of the company.
So she started messing with. I think the film opens up with the scientist who gets kicked out because he's doing funny experiments on wasps.
You should be doing experiments on bees.
Right.
He was in the bee factory, wasn't he?
So the nice ones, but he's working with the cunts instead.
He's working with wasps to get the royal jelly.
And he's kind of he's discovered that it might have a reverse aging effect.
All right.
So she wants to be his subject because she wants to reverse her aging, and it all goes quickly belly up because as she looks younger, she wants more of it, but then it
starts taking over.
Yeah, she breaks in, takes all the medicine instead of the controlled scientist amount, turns into a giant wasp and pretty much kills everyone and dies herself, doesn't she?
Yeah, she's just she starts killing everyone who's discovering what's going on.
Right.
So I think a story like that has relevance
still
throughout the age.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of Instagram and all this.
It's been used a million times as well, hasn't it?
Filters. You've got to get younger. You've got to get younger.
The idea. Well, it has. It's been redone in ways with plastic surgery. Kind of horror films that that have been done before. But it is. It's still relevant.
Right.
And that was like 1959.
Jesus.
So this is early Corman, isn't it?
Yeah.
Was this before the original Fly or after the original?
It's after. I'm sure the Fly was before that.
Yeah, this is why I think.
I think the Fly was about 55. I reckon.
Yeah,
the Fly.
I was wondering which was the first, because there's definitely I've not seen it, but that sounds like it's got similar plot points to the Fly.
The plot, I mean, it's
a transformation into an insect,
basically.
The Fly was the year before.
Right.
What did I say? I said 55.
58 it was.
Oh, it's in 58. I was far off.
What one was 59?
Right.
So I think again. So I mean, I was sort of say, it's difficult to watch Corman and all that.
But it's not when you actually think about it, and the kind of, even though it's kind of story light, it was still relevant. It's still relevant,
I think
70 years. What?
Nearly 70
Nearly
years
70 years later.
Yeah.
I think
60
maybe the
years
problem,
later.
and I think probably most people would find them a difficult watch, wouldn't they? I mean, there's no bones about that.
That's because we're used to such a high level of polishedness now.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
what
horrible. I think me and PD are very similar on this. If you can gloss over the shit, you know what I mean, you can find some fucking beauty in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can find gloss over
There's
the
always
dodgy
diamonds
effects.
in the
You know
rough.
what I mean? And just watch the film for what it was made as you know what I mean?
As long as you can see that they've done it with some enthusiasm
And love,
and they've at least had a go, and it's decent.
I would give anyone props who could deliver
a
a
low
finished
budget film can be, especially monster movies, because they're the most creature features horror films. They're the most profitable.
Yeah,
always have been and always will be.
Yeah,
they've kept.
If you could get a good franchise,
I think the bump comes though. I think the budget does affect. I mean, it does in Wasp Woman. It just looks like somebody with weird sunglasses, kind of. But so I think where I struggle with Corman is his contribution's great. Outside of directing, his contribution is great, but I think the budget's kind of.
If you had a higher budget, you know that the films would be fantastic.
It's the execution.
That's not his fault, though,
the
is it?
execution lets them down.
He's gone ahead with it anyway, and he was like, right, well, I've got this much money. I will make this film anyway because I want to make this film.
Yeah.
And that is something to be applauded.
There's a market, and there was a market because you guys both like it, and so there is people that want to see it, and that's
But
great.
this is back in the day when even more people would really like it.
Yeah, perfect driving movies, aren't they?
Yeah,
To do a date movie.
Quite
You
Corman films.
Yeah.
Or Corman produced films.
Yeah.
And I bet you if you looked at how many more Corman produced films there was,
I sat and looked through his stuff, and there wasn't a lot of stuff that's in my.
He released a sword and sorcery movie before Conan, which Conan's seen as the one that started in the 80s. But he'd done it the year before. Conan.
But again, this is influence, and it's like the films themselves is what. I've no doubt that his influence was fantastic, and he really had a huge part to play in Hollywood and stuff. But I'm with Clive on it that like the lack of budget and the rush because you like churning them out. Will affect my enjoyment of a film. I will sit and watch it, and I'm just sitting in front of a TV watching a film. I'm going, yeah, that's a bit shonky. And I can see, and I agree with what you say. If you try,
I forgive a lot.
Kermode always,
I forgive a hell of a lot.
Says pretty much what you said. He says, "I'd rather someone aimed high and fell short than just kind of did a half-assed job."
Yeah.
So props for that. But if I'm just sitting watching a film, like I will, if there's bad acting, bad scripts, bad effects, or just a lack of budget, I will go. It'll immediately make me go.
It pulled you out of the story.
Yeah, well,
Spaghetti Man was fine.
Spaghetti Man was, but Spaghetti Man did. Spaghetti Man's a different kind of animal because it's a lo-fi kind of Napoleon Dynamite-y kind of kind of shoegazing kind of modern low budget thing. It wasn't even trying to be as good as a Corman movie. It was just. But it's not something I'll watch again. It was just and really I brought it in mainly because I thought it's kind of in that kind of shlocky.
PD, I love it.
It's a PD kind of area. So I was doing it for you, really. There's a few films I brought in here purely for you. It's like
Wickedy Wow.
Yeah, because I'm like, oh well, that's in PD's area. Like Snow Beast, like I loved it as a kid. I watched it again honestly, and I was kind of like, oh, this is a struggle. Like it's not. I loved it when I was a kid, but that I couldn't. Yeah, I struggled to rewatch it. I brought it in because I knew you liked it. It was kind of like this is one of PD's kind of things.
I just IMDb'd Spaghetti Man, and there are four different films called Spaghetti Man.
All right. This
it's the Don Mio one.
Yeah.
It's 30 seconds long. It's an advert.
It's yeah, but sorry, I've silenced her.
Sorry, what you did now is miles away.
No, I've.
But anyways, Wasp Woman. Back to Wasp Woman.
Yes, Wasp Woman. So I think, underneath it, there is a bit of societal commentary on what's with the pressure on women to look good and to keep young and all that kind of thing. So it does, the way that could work with modern audiences. But,
it's a lifelong thing, isn't it? This has been for years and years. Like our obsession with looking young. It's not just women, is it? Our obsession with looking young.
Yeah,
we all. You know what I mean? I mean, we're all right. We're all. You're quite young. We're middle-aged. We're middle-aged, aren't we?
I think I'm probably middle-aged as well.
I'm old, actually.
Yeah,
sure.
45. That's probably.
I'm the oldest, am I?
You're the oldest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Waff's the youngest.
Yeah.
Waff's the wisest.
I'm the middle.
Yeah.
Well, no, you're second youngest.
Yeah.
So, are you third youngest?
I'm second oldest.
Second oldest, okay.
Yeah. I'm 52 tomorrow.
So, anyways, Wasp Woman, got a lot of going on for it still now to this day.
I'm going to watch that.
Yeah.
And it's also
it's on Amazon.
Yeah,
there must be something that people see in this idea because it's had at least 2 remakes that we've talked about, which are direct remakes, not even influenced by. So there's something to be said for a story that keeps wanting to get told, isn't there? Like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. That seems to get made every century, every decade.
Death Becomes Her is probably a descendant from Wasp Woman.
Yeah, completely. But we all want the Fountain of Youth, don't we?
Yeah.
So, Susan Cabot, who plays Janice, took the royal jelly enzyme to stay young. But in real life, she reportedly tried to treat her mental illness, because that's why she stopped acting, with a human growth hormone that her son took for dwarfism.
Okay.
And then her son later killed her.
Fucking hell, that's
Reportedly in self-defence.
For robbing her drugs.
That plot is better than Wasp Woman.
Yeah.
For robbing her
filming
drugs.
that, isn't it?
You stole my drugs, bitch.
Corman plays the doctor in the hospital who's treating the
Is that
professor.
right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Like that.
I recognised him straight away.
I bet you did, yeah.
The film debuted in theatres as a double feature with Beast from the Haunted Cave.
Classic.
The role of the beekeeper, played by Aaron Kincaid, was added after the film's initial release.
Oh, so they added that first bit on, did they?
Yeah.
To give it context.
In '64, it was colourised and had 11 minutes added.
I've never seen the colourised one.
Yeah, that's the one that's on
YouTube.
YouTube. No.
Amazon. So it's only an hour and a quarter.
Yeah.
It's a long hour and a quarter.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
It's like one of them. It's a time paradox, you know. Because it's like it's only an hour. You know,
Is
three
that it? Is
three
that
hours
it?
go out by. It's only an hour and a quarter.
It must
in
only be,
reality.
I've only been watching
Like,
it
holy
5
crap,
minutes.
man.
I feel like it's been an hour.
Michael Mark, who played Eric Zinthorpe, the Doctor, had been in a lot of Universal classics like The Black Cat, Tower of London, Mummy's Hand, as well as other studios chillers like Mad Love, The Face Behind the Mask, and The Black Room Mysteries. Which
So
were
he
all
was a
kind of
working actor
in
then.
the
He had a
30s,
long
yeah.
career as an actor.
He had a decent career as an actor, and that was in the 30s.
Okay.
And the music was reused in Little Shop of Horrors.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
So I think that's his big gift to the world, isn't it? Is like you don't need a big budget to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you've got an idea,
absolutely.
run with it.
And
Punk rock.
put your heart behind it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Finally, the body count was 5, including one cat. Because it's a little bit of a slasher film when you think about it in parts.
The
as
Wasp
well.
Woman.
Yeah. How she takes
Yeah.
them out one by one, and then before she goes fucking batshit crazy. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It's worth watching. It's on YouTube and
I
it's
might
on
watch that.
Amazon Prime as well. The colorized versions on
I
Amazon
might watch that on
Prime,
Amazon.
which is the longer version.
Yeah.
It seems. But yeah, really good film. I think we've done it old Roger proud with this podcast. To be honest,
Can I just say though, at the end of the documentary, Roger Corman gets a lifetime Oscar, which is fucking beautiful to see because he was never going to get one.
no.
He would never have got one through the merits of his film, which is a shame. But he was always up against people with bigger budgets and
As we've talked about,
you know what I mean. But for him to get that at the end of that documentary, it's a beautiful thing, isn't it? It's like you feel like you fucking
And
deserve
you get
that.
the impression that he wasn't after kind of
No,
making
he
it.
absolutely
This is what I love
wasn't.
doing. I'm just going to do it.
He was quite a mild mannered, like just sat doing stuff. Sort of that dude, wasn't he? He wasn't like exorbitant or like.
I
like
think
he
one of the
wasn't like
reasons-
career hungry.
No, I don't think he was.
I
He
think
just
one of the
loved what he
reasons he
did.
lived as long as he did because he kept himself busy right to the end.
Yeah,
Yeah. And probably kept himself happy as
Yeah.
well. These would be
Well,
great fun films to
Well, I
make.
found a great wife.
advise
Yeah.
everybody to go on YouTube. It's on the Shudder channel on YouTube, and watch the
Common story, is it?
the Joe Bob Joe Bob driving thing
Right,
interview with Corman from last year. He was 97
right.
and he's there with his wife. I advise it's a really good interview. It's only I think it's about 45 minutes long, and he skips through his career.
Yeah.
And yeah, Joe Bob's driving on. It's on Shudder. It's a great show.
Yeah.
With is it Darcy, the male girl? You know what I mean. So it's all good stuff. But no, thank you all for joining us for our Corman special. I think we've done the man proud. And we'll speak to you soon. I've been PD. That's been Waff.
See ya.
That's been Daz.
Ta-da.
And that's been Clive. See you all next week with another Carlisle Pub Cinema Club presents.